she knew all the fucking stupid things I'd done. But the love was stronger than anything you can think of. The goddamn regret. The goddamn regret! Okay, we are back. And we are reviewing tonight a movie that qualifies for something in the book. Like I said before, there was only 3 left. Now there's only 2 left because I'm going to do this review tonight. First, before we get too into it, I just wanted to say there are 3 disclaimers. 1, these videos are completely unedited. 2, they are completely unfiltered. So whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. Adult things will come out of my mouth. So if your kids are in the room, you probably want to ask them to leave or put your headphones on. And the 3rd disclaimer is there will be spoilers, especially for the movie that I am reviewing. But if you've been listening to me long enough, you know that I go off on tangents all the time. And sometimes I give spoilers away for other movies. I start talking about other movies, and then I realize, oh my goodness, I said something that was definitely a spoiler for that movie. But have no fear, I'll put a list of every movie that I mention underneath this video, and I'll have a little header that says spoilers. So you'll know what movies I give spoilers away for, and you can avoid that if you want to. Okay, we are going to get into this because I probably made more notes on this particular film than any film I've ever reviewed. But the good thing is a lot of notes were about the same scene, a lot of little things about the same scene, so hopefully this will go quick. Okay, so a movie that qualifies for something in the book, I only have 3 left. Now I have 2 after this. Challenge number 23, a film that takes place before the year 1900. And I believe this is 1987 or something like that. Movie title, Unforgiven. Year released 1992, aspect ratio 2.39:1, running time 2 hours and 10 minutes. Genre, I only put the ones I feel are relevant because IMDb has gotten insane about these genres. So drama, Western, that's it. Rated R, date challenge completed May 2nd, which was 2 nights ago. I'm filming on the 4th. I love this movie so much, and I've said this about, I think it was Dances with Wolves. It's really hard for me to tear myself away from this movie to make notes. And I just did that so much that I felt like I didn't really get to experience the movie. So last night I watched the movie again, and then now, with uninterrupted. So on the 2nd, I made my notes, watched it. On the 3rd, I watched it straight through without making any notes, without interruption, and then tonight I'm doing the video. My rating, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. This movie is, in my opinion, the best Western ever made. But we're going to get into that. Starring Clint Eastwood, and R.I.P. Gene Hackman. I was so sad to hear the circumstances surrounding him and his wife's passing, and that was quite recent, so it's still kind of fresh. It's sad. He's brilliant in this movie, deserving of the Academy Award. Morgan Freeman is also in this film. Richard Harris, both Morgan Freeman and Richard Harris, fantastic in this film and other films. I love them. They're great. Saul Rubinek is fantastic in this film. Very memorable. Francis Fisher also is very, very memorable in this film. And I wanted to mention Anthony James. The reason why I want to mention Anthony James is because he did a really good job in this film, Skinny. He did a good job in this film, but I didn't realize he's in a few other Clint Eastwood Western films. Now, I was never a big Western fan. We're going to get into that. I think we're going to get into that. I was never a huge fan of Westerns until later on in my life when I saw Tombstone. That changed my idea of what a Western could be. Love that movie. Fucking love that movie. And so it got me to open myself up to other Westerns, and I started watching other things. And eventually when I got around to watching Unforgiven, this movie, sets a bar so high. How could you make a film better than this? This is the best. Anyway, moving on. Directed by Clint Eastwood, produced by Clint Eastwood. This was written by David Webb Peoples. Now, the funny thing is, when I did my review of Blade Runner, I think I mentioned, wow, this is done by the same guy who did Unforgiven. Now, I was a huge fan of Unforgiven. Always have been for a very, very long time. I've seen this movie so many times. I have no idea how many, but plenty. So when I was reviewing Blade Runner, which I haven't seen nearly as many times as I've seen this, I was shocked to see that David Webb Peoples had also done that film, who written that film. And I was just shocked. I was like, wow, he did Unforgiven, and I know him from Unforgiven. I just didn't know him that he had done Blade Runner. Anyway, music by Lenny Niehaus. Niehaus? Never heard of him before. Don't know anything else he's ever done, but this soundtrack is brilliant. Love it. It is perfect for this film. I have the soundtrack on my Spotify account. I love it. It's great. Sometimes I just listen to it at night when I'm going to bed. Awards received. Okay, so we're going to go backwards. Best film editing. Excuse me. So a lot of times when I talk, I get a lot of air in there, so I get a lot of burping going on. The film editing, now, sometimes I watch a film like Stay, and I'm like, Jesus, the editing was brilliant. Like, wow, it blows me away. And then sad to see that it was never even nominated. But something like this did not necessarily stand out as, like, wonderful editing. I believe there's one note that I made that there was an awkward editing that didn't feel right, that there shouldn't have been something in between it. We'll get to it. But okay, good. I'm glad it won. Best director, Clint Eastwood. He did a fantastic job with this film. Best supporting actor, again, Gene Hackman. Like, he is so fantastic in so many things. And in this, I find him just brilliant, like brilliant. And this did win Best Picture. Now, I thought to myself, okay, what was, I have my Oscar list. So I was like, what else was nominated that year? Because I feel like Unforgiven is definitely worthy. But did I see all the films that were nominated that year? This was one of the years where they were only nominating 5 instead of now they nominate 10. So they were only nominating 5. And I was shocked to see that one of them I haven't seen. I've seen the other 4. So Unforgiven won. The Crying Game, which I saw, which I thought, it's a good movie, but probably, in my opinion, didn't deserve even necessarily a nomination. That's just my opinion. A Few Good Men, which was fantastic. And, yeah, deserving of the nomination. Howard's End, I didn't see. So Howard's End, I hadn't seen, so I can't say one way or another. And Scent of a Woman is brilliant. So 3 of the 5, I feel like it would have been really hard for me to sit down and go, okay, which one? Unforgiven, A Few Good Men, and Scent of a Woman. I'm like, they're all so good in different ways. But this one, I think, would have edged above those, and I would have voted for Unforgiven. I can't necessarily say that I would have voted for it over Howard's End because I haven't seen it. So, but of those other 4, yes, I would have voted for Unforgiven. So, moving on, why did you choose this particular film? Like I said, I think it is the best Western ever made. Fantastic. I have the poster in my bedroom. So, the funny thing is, the last 2 movies that I reviewed, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I have the posters in my house. This one I have the poster in my house. The next 2 movies that finish the book, I also have those posters in my house. So all 5 of these last reviews that qualify in the book, I have all the posters in my house. Love this movie. It's fantastic. Have you seen this movie before? Yes, I've seen this easy 100 times, maybe more. Just a wonderful movie. I own it. I don't think I've ever seen a re-release in theaters, although that would be awesome. To be able to see this in the theater would be neat. Just the sound and the experience of it would be nice. I don't think they've ever re-released this, although I feel like they've re-released so many other things they should. Would you recommend this film? Okay, so that's a hard one. I know that a lot of people shy away from Westerns. They don't like Westerns, just the idea of a Western, and I can sympathize because I feel the same way about musicals. A lot of times it's really hard for me to get in the mood to watch a musical, even when somebody like recommends a musical. Oh, sorry, I got a text from a neighbor, and I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. So anyway, it's really hard sometimes for me to watch a musical, get in the mood to watch a musical. So I understand when people are like, I don't watch Westerns, or I'm not in the mood for a Western, or I'm just not going to do it. So I would say to those people, if you were to ever watch one Western in your life, and I know other people have their opinion about the Westerns, but if you were to watch just one in your entire life, yes, I know Tombstone changed my mind about what a Western could be, and then the Hateful Eight and Dances with Wolves. But this, in my opinion, is the best Western ever made. And I do, I've seen a ton of other ones. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Outlaw Josey Wales, Rio Bravo, I've seen a bunch. 310 to Yuma, I've seen a bunch. But this one stands out. I mean, it sets the bar at a whole other level, in my opinion. And so I would say to those people, I would recommend it to anyone who's not a Western fan, just to say, if you were to watch one, it should be this. Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with in what way? Now, if you've been watching my reviews, I hate that question. But this time, I actually answered it as asked. And I said Ned Logan. I identify with him because most people know me as a very trustworthy person that they can count on. And William Money goes to him he knows he can count on him. My phone is freaking... Why? Okay. My phone is freaking out, and I'm like, should I be concerned? Anyway, William Money goes to... the funny thing is, in IMDb, it says Bill Money. They never, ever call him Bill. Not once do they call him Bill. Will, or William. That is the weirdest thing that IMDb says Bill Money. Okay, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Fail, IMDb. Fail. It is not Bill Money. It may even be in the script Bill Money, but never once has anyone called him Bill in the film. It is Will Money. William, Will. Right? They don't ever call... Am I mishearing it? Now I'm second guessing myself, and I shouldn't because I don't want to waste time. But anyway, Will Money goes to Ned Logan because he can trust him. And I feel like I could kill, absolutely, and not have it ruin my conscience. But I could not kill for money. I could defend my country, and if necessary, in war, or if somebody, broke into my house, I know that I would be okay with that sort of thing, but I could not do it for money. And Ned Logan breaks down at one point in this film. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's not go too far ahead. Again, spoilers happen. But if I were to answer this question the way I would like it to be asked, which character would you like to play? I would love to play Will Money. He is such an amazing character. Like, fantastic. But I know I'm just not... I'm not the kind of person that they would cast as William Money. Hold on. I'm getting this. I'm sorry, guys. This is one of those things where it just gnaws on my brain now that I saw IMDb call him Bill, and now I'm like, did they ever call him Bill in the film? That's not right. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things that if I don't, I'll be stuck on it. Unedited, ladies and gentlemen, unedited. Every instance of Bill is not William Money. It is Little Bill Daggett. It's just, why would IMDb do that? Will Money. Will. Okay, I'm right. That's what I thought. I was just so... It got stuck in my brain. Sorry, guys. Moving on. I would love to play William Money, because he's such a great character, but I know... And a character that has a progression and a feel that I would love to be able to play, but I know they would never... I mean, I would have to be much older, but I know that they would never, cast me as that. Best line or memorable quote. There are so many in this film. Like, I could repeat this film in its entirety, probably. It's so great. Deserves got nothing to do with it is one of the ones that always pops in my brain when I think about this film. Well, he should have armed himself if he's going to decorate his saloon with my friend. Oh my God, it's not just the line. It's what's happening. It's the emotion behind it. It's why he's saying it that makes those lines just so brilliant. Better not cut up nor otherwise harm no whores, or I'll come back and kill every one of you sons of bitches. I mean, it really is that the whole ending scene. We'll get to it. The whole ending scene is just, you can't tear yourself away from it. It's so brilliant. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? I don't remember if I was surprised the first time I saw this film, if I was surprised by the ending or not. But I wouldn't change a thing. In the last 15-20 minutes of this film is brilliant. Brilliant. Imagine yourself living in the time period in the same place your film was set. What things would you be excited to witness or experience? Just the idea of gunplay, like gunfighters, seems like a cool thing to experience. Not the guns that we have nowadays. We're talking about a whole other type of, guns. We have such ridiculous, the guns we have nowadays are just ridiculous and zero. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to get into is I would like to experience that time of having a revolver on your hip and arguments. Yes. Part of me would like to experience it, and then part of me is like, it would be kind of scary. An argument would get into that, because there's something that they say in Tombstone is you could just get into an argument and if somebody ends up, oh no, they say that in Goodfellas. Those are completely different time periods, but an argument. There is that scene in Tombstone where the stupid little argument leads to a gunfight and somebody dead, but just having a gun and gunplay just seems like an interesting thing for me I would love to experience that. Very much like I would love to experience the swords and carrying a sword and fighting with sword and armor and things. Those are kind of time periods that I would love to experience, just to, what would it be like to be like that? Anything else you'd like to add? I have plenty of notes. Like I said, I probably made more notes on this than any other film that I've reviewed. So we need to get to them, and it's already 19 minutes. The little note here at the bottom that I always the little film fact that I always read with you says Captain Blood, 1935, never even heard of that, was the first of 9 films starring Olivia de Havilland and Errol Flynn together. Oh, okay. Well, cool. I've never seen a film with either one of those actors. So anyway, we're going to put that to the side because I have plenty of freaking notes and we need to get to them. So let's do it. Oh my God, the music. I think I said the music is just, it's superb. I have the soundtrack on my Spotify. Sometimes at night when I go to bed, I put the soundtrack on because it fits this movie brilliantly and it's wonderful. Both of those. I'm glad that there's no narration, although, you have Morgan Freeman, who's like the captain of fucking narration, the king of narration. But I think this was, hold on. Shawshank Redemption was 94. So this was 2 years before Shawshank Redemption, which basically solidified Morgan Freeman as a narrator. So this is before he was known for that. But I'm still glad that they didn't do a narration for this film like they did in other films like Dances with the Wolves, which was before this. I'm glad that they just did a little blurb in the beginning. What I love is the simplicity about the beginning, the opening. The music is fucking brilliant. And it just, that guitar, that pick, ding, 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 just the pick of the guitar, the simplicity of it lends a simplicity to what we're going to see, of the time, the simpleness of the time. And this quick title, it just says Unforgiven, nobody's name, just let's do Unforgiven. And the quick scroll of what we're going to see and the simplicity of what we see. We're not trying to give you a huge, like Gladiator, where we give you a lot of information, or Troy, where we give you a lot of information. No, we just want to give you some quick little information to get your appetite whetted. Just a little bit. And such a beautiful opening shot where we're seeing basically the shadow of what we see. Not shadow. I mean, we're not looking at a shadow, but we're looking at mostly dark and then the sunset behind it. So we can't see anything. There's nothing really there. It's all, shadow, black. It's all kind of like that. I think it's brilliant. I think it's wonderful. And it gets you like, okay, we're at a simpler time, simpler moment. But it sets up what we need to set up. It sets up William Money, like who we kind of should think of him, because I forget her first name, but his wife's something Feathers, I can't remember her first name. His wife's mom, so his mother-in-law, the whole thing about the quick blurb in the beginning is his mother-in-law knows of his reputation. And so we kind of, because of that, know a little bit of his reputation, but not enough. And I have to admit, if you know Clint Eastwood and you know his films before this and his reputation as a Western actor, then it lends a weight to William Money's character, even though, yes, this is not the same character he's played in any other film. But just knowing Clint Eastwood's reputation in the Westerns, being who he is, lends that easiness to accept that William Money is a terror. He's not a nice person. Okay, so we got to set that up in the beginning. I love that. So we move on from that. I love that when Alice and who's one of the kids that she's having sex with somebody. I love that she wipes herself when she gives up. Just the little thing. Sometimes the little things lends an authenticity, a believability to what we're watching, and that she wipes herself clean is I'm not straight, but I get the reason why for that, and it's funny. I think it's a nice touch. It's funny to me. I know other people might think it vulgar, but it lends a believability to what we're watching. What an opening scene when they tear that girl, cut her up, and she didn't even touch his poke. All she done was she seen when he had a teensy little peck was give a giggle. She didn't know no better. Love that line. I love the I love that in a line, we have set up the entire beginning. And the brilliance of the writing, I have to say, David Webb Peoples, and I probably should say this throughout the entire, review, David Webb Peoples set this up so well in the dialogue. It's brilliant. We don't need a lot. We've got it in the dialogue. And if you just listen to what's being said in every scene, if you don't check your phone, if you don't talk to your friends, if you don't eat your popcorn, please just listen to what's being said. It sets up everything. It tells you everything you need to know. And this is one of the lines that, in my opinion, is that. I mean, perfect. She said, boom, done. We know the entire beginning. Property. So, what the fuck? So it's another time. You have to accept that it's another time. But he's like, a whipping's not going to do it. She's property to me, and now she's damaged. As if I were to, tear up one of their ponies. You figure nobody want to fuck her now. The dialogue, the delivery, Gene Hackman is just wonderful. Wonderful. For what they done, Skinny gets some ponies and that's it. That ain't gonna settle Little Bill. So I gotta say again, Frances Fisher is amazing in this film. I did not appreciate her. I was not as big a fan in Titanic. She did fine in Titanic. I hate her like you're supposed to in Titanic. But in this film, I think she blows it away. She's fucking amazing in this film. And I think the idea of that is just disgusting. That she's just like, Skinny gets ponies and they don't get whipped. I know it's like, haven't you seen enough Blood for Tonight or something like that, but still, they cut her up. Like, something more has to be done on her side as far as justice. The girl who got cut up, Delilah, just the idea of that. Who cares about the women? This is about the men, and that was the mentality at the time. They were just hard-working boys. It was foolish. If they were given over to wickedness in a regular way, like whores, that, again, I have to say, pay attention to the writing. The writing is brilliant. That idea is like the whole basis for this movie is the women are not treated as... The women want justice for what was done. Okay? This is a profession like any other. I'm a whore, prostitute, working girl, whatever you want to call it, because it's progressed through the years. Okay, I get it. And I don't care what you call them. It doesn't matter to me. I have no prejudice for it. If that's what you want to do, that's what you do. So I've got no problem with it. But watching the film, they don't treat them as regular, as equal. Absolutely not as equal. I mean, we're talking about the 1800s. So women aren't equal, and definitely not whores are not equal, or, working girls or whatever you want to call it are not equal. I mean, it's all... Anyway, just this idea of Bill thinks they were just hardworking kids who made a mistake. You fucking cut up a woman. You pulled your knife and cut her face to ribbons. Like, just, I mean, I know Stephen King would have made more of it, but, she'll never look the same again. Ever. That's not okay. That's not a mistake. Anyway, the idea of it is fantastic, but because it gets you right where it needs to get you, and it's anyway. Move on. Let's move on. I made this note this time because I think I realized something this time when I was reviewing it and wanting to talk about it that I never realized before, because it's not in the forefront of your mind. It's not in your face, but this is a woman empowerment film in 1992 by Clint Eastwood. Because this whole movie revolves around justice for Delilah. And is that right? Is that more right than Bill Daggett, Little Bill? Is that more right than Little Bill saying throughout the entire film that guns for hire is wrong? Because he does throughout the entire film. I hate villains, people of low character. I do not abide assassins or something like that. Anyway, he is all about not being okay with guns for hire. But this whole film is about justice for Delilah, which nobody gives a fuck about. They give Skinny justice for Skinny, but not for Delilah. And so this is sneaky a women empowerment film. And I didn't really see it in that light until I was writing notes about this. Now, what I did have to say is be careful what you wish for. They want justice. So what do? They decide to hire someone to get justice for Delilah. But William Money, they don't know who he is, obviously. They don't know his background. They don't know much about him, but be careful what you wish for, because William Money, if you get William Money, not who he is now, you got more than you bargained for. Let's move on, because we'll talk more about that. I love how unassuming he is in the beginning. The pig farmer, he's being torn up. His farm is super simple. The two kids. Oh, I do have to say something about the one kid. I'm going to screw this up because I don't know his name, and I should say his name because I'll tell you why I should say his name. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look up what I know him from. And then say his name, because I'll find it that way easier. Okay. Shane Meyer. Shane Thomas Meyer. Shane Meyer. He plays William Money's son. But as soon as I see him, I know him from Needful Things. Of course, he did Needful Things years later, because Needful Things was in 90, or the next year, 93. I thought he did it years later, but anyway. And then he was also in Men in Tights or something like that. So I know him from other things. So to see him in this, I was like, oh my God, that's him. Anyway, he's fine. He's fine in the film, and whatever. But I wanted to say his name because I knew him from other things. So I love how unassuming Will Money is in the beginning of this. The pig farmer, the two little kids. The pigs are taking him down. He's falling all over the place. I love that. I love the You got to give credit where credit is due. There's a reason why Clint Eastwood has endured not only as an actor, but as a director and a producer. He's fucking phenomenal. And I don't care what your personal view of his personal politics is or what your personal view of his films are. I am not a big fan of Woody Allen, but Woody Allen is a force in film. Absolutely. And you have to say the same thing for Clint Eastwood. You may not like Clint Eastwood or anything he's ever done, but the fact that he has this longevity, he's in his 90s and still making films. So you have to give credit where credit is due. His progression as a character in this film is fantastic. And I love this beginning where he is just, you're like, this is, my grandfather can do better than this guy. And I love that about it. I love the constant references to who he was. And I'm spending way too long on all these notes when I have like 20 pages of notes. So come on. I love this constant reference, throughout the entire film. And it's not too much, in my opinion. It's important. David Webb Peebles did a fantastic job. We are referring to William Money in his heyday, who he used to be, and he regrets it, which is why my quote in the beginning. He regrets who he was, absolutely, because he's sober now. And he even says, my wife cured me of drinking and wickedness. Okay, so we know that he used to be a terror. He used to be bad. And we get glimpses of it, but we don't know because we haven't seen, and that's fine. He's like Wild Bill and Doc Holliday and Billy the Kid all wrapped into one. Like he's just like anyway. These constant references to who he used to be, on account of you're cold as snow, you're as cold as the snow, you don't have no weak nerve, no fear, neither. All of this constantly referring, and I have so many notes as it refers to him as being this cutthroat, this person. I love the way the cutting of the woman is like telephone. It constantly gets worse throughout. Every time somebody mentions it, it gets worse. How much they cut her and what they cut. It lends a funniness to it. I can't move those damn pigs. Again, that's Meyer. It's funny. But I had to mention him because, I never saw much that he did beyond those 2 or 3 films, but he did a good job. I ain't like that no more, kid. It's whiskey done it more than anything else, and I haven't dropped in 10 years. So, I love the foreshadow in this film. This film is, if you want to teach something in film school, you want to teach how to foreshadow. Not necessarily if you want to teach how to, build payoff. Sicario is that, and maybe some other films. But this is about foreshadow. We're constantly talking about something that's going to happen, something that's going to happen, something that's going to happen. Who I used to be. You get that. It's all foreshadow, which makes this movie so brilliant without knowing it, especially your first time around. But the foreshadow is brilliant. He hasn't had a drop in 10 years, and the whiskey had done it more. I'm drinking whiskey tonight. The whiskey had done it more than anything else. Anyway, the struggle is real. I wrote this note. He needs the money. When the Schofield kid takes off and William Munny goes back to the pigs and he falls over and then he looks at the Schofield kid in the very distance, he's going to change his mind. I mean, we wouldn't have a movie if he didn't, but he needs the money. He's just not doing well. She ain't got no face left, and you're gonna give her a goddamn mangy pony. Even when I was younger, the first time I saw this film, I remember feeling so upset and frustrated that they didn't let Delilah speak for herself. Now here's this kid, Davy, who didn't actually do the cutting. Yes, he was there with his partner. Quick Mike. Yes, he was there with his partner, backing up his partner, but he didn't do the cutting, and he really felt bad. Like he knew it was wrong, and from the beginning scene that that he knows it was wrong. When little Bill's got him. Anyway, I always felt real bad that he felt bad, and he brought the best of the lot to give to her as I'm sorry, as an atonement, and they wouldn't, Strawberry Alice and the other Silky, they wouldn't let Delilah accept it. They wouldn't let Delilah speak. They wouldn't let Delilah. It was more important for them to say, "You're not good enough. It's not good enough." It just always really frustrated me. Like, let Delilah speak for herself. She's the one that was cut. Anyway, that always bothered me, and it does even to today. when I watch it. I love that William Money can't shoot for shit. Sober, when he's sober, because he says he hasn't had a drink in 10 years, and he's trying to shoot that whatever he set up, that canteen or whatever. It's not a canteen, it's like a can of oil or some shit. And he keeps trying to shoot it and he can't, and then he pulls the shotgun. I love that. I love that we get, like I said about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. If you watch my review of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I talk about how we get these laughs, but it's not like we're trying. It's not forced comedy. It's like we want to get little laughs because we want to break up the drama. This is a very drama heavy, very serious film. So we want to break that up a couple of times with some laughs like this with the shotgun. and that he can't ride anymore. I ain't hardly been in the saddle myself in a while. He falling off the horse. You know what I gotta say? And I may have made this note later, but I have to say it now. Like, Clint Eastwood is notorious in Hollywood as a director for one shot. We're doing this one time, one take. We are not doing 10, 20, 30 takes to get it right. We are doing one take. Why? Because it either worked or it didn't. And we're doing it. Either you're ready or you're not. I'm hiring people I trust to do the role right, and we're going to take one take. And when you watch this film and you see such brilliant shots, and like you're like, that was done so well, it's so great. And it was probably, most definitely, one take. The only take. And he got an Academy Award multiple times. He got an Academy Award winning film in one take. Let's just do it. You're ready. We've set it up. We know what we're supposed to do. We know what we're going to do. We're going to do it once and let the editor figure it out. Let the editor figure it out. I could literally talk about every scene. I could talk about this movie all night long. It's already 41 minutes. God bless it. It's already 41 minutes long. Elijah, Jesus, this is going to be a 5-hour review. Okay. Paying $1,000 to whatever son of a bitch kills paying $1,000 to whatever son of a bitch cuts up Delilah. I love that now Bill knows what's going on. The severity of the scene has gotten there. I love Morgan Freeman. He is amazing, especially in this film. We ain't farmers no more, Bill. We ain't bad men no more. We're farmers. We done stuff for money before, Ned. Well, we thought we did. Like I said, everything is in the dialogue. David Webb Peebles, fucking fantastic. Fantastic. I love this shot. Again, like I said, one shot. I love this shot when William Money is leaving the house and Ned says, Will, and he turns. As he's putting on his hat, he turns. It's just one of those shots that will live in film history. I've seen it in so many clips and so many quick things, that one shot where he's turning back and that look. It's Clint Eastwood, and it's just that you just got that one shot. I love that Sally's not happy right away. She knows he's not there for anything good. I can still knock the eye out of a bird flying. I love that line. And I believe him. I believe him absolutely. Different people age differently, and he's got no problem with the sight. A lot of us have a problem with it. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, technically, I don't have much problem with my sight. I mean, barely anything. It's more close than I have great far vision. I love this camp. I love the camp talks when they set camp and the little talks that they have because they're traveling. I love these talks, but the first time when he's talking about he's going to miss his wife. Oh, sorry, Will. Again, it's all about the writing. It's all about the dialogue. You get everything in it. And he's like, he's going to miss his wife, but he knows that Will doesn't have one. So he's like, oh, sorry, Will. Well, she knew me back then. She knew, she knew I forget what he says, but he says, just because we're going on this killing doesn't mean I'm going to go back to being the way I was. Again, it's this brilliant setup of all this, like who he used to be and how horrible he used to be. You remember that drover I shot through the mouth and his teeth came out the back of his head? He didn't do anything he didn't do anything to deserve killing. At least not anything anything he deserved when I remember sobering up or something like that. It's all of this talk about how horrible he used to be and the regret he feels now. And he won't touch whiskey anymore because he knows that's what did it most. It's all this brilliant talk. It's the writing. Fucking David Webb Peebles. I can't say enough. Richard Harris is amazing. I love him as Dumbledore in the Harry Potters. I love him as Marcus Aurelius in Gladiator. He's done some great work. He's really good in this. I fucking love him in this. Absolutely memorable. English Bob as English Bob. I love the introduction to English Bob on the train. This guy, whoever this fucking actor is, this queen, this country don't need no queen, I reckon. Anyway, that guy that's talking to him there, he is 1,000% fucking amazing. And I wish I knew his name. I wish I knew his character name, because I would love to say his name on this review, but it would take me too long to figure out who he was. But he is I believe he's like, they plucked some guy from the 1800s and put him in this film. He's perfect. This country don't need no queens, I reckon. You English Bob. The pheasant shooting. Okay, so I have to bring this up because when I put my review hat on, everything is different. When I watch a movie, I watch it for entertainment. I enjoy it. I put myself in it. I allow myself to be in the moment in the film. But when I put my reviewer hat on, I have to look at it in a different way, a little bit different way. And so sometimes things come up and I'm like, whoa, that never came up before. And this is one of them. This never came up before. When he says, English Bob, let's shoot some pheasants. Let's say 10 shots at $1 a shot. Wait. Revolvers, which almost everyone carries, are 6 bullets. Why the fuck would he say 10 shots? That makes no sense. That means you would shoot 4, reload 6, or you would shoot 6, reload, and then only 4? No, that doesn't make any sense. Wait, okay, and I'm not trying to be nitpicky, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to be realistic. It takes time to reload a revolver. You also have to scare up the pheasants somehow. Maybe throw a rock, maybe whatever. And the train is moving. So you have to understand. Okay, you're going to shoot 4 shots. Stop. Take time. Reload those 4. Scare the pheasants up again and do 6 shots. That's 10. Or or the other way, you're going to do 6 shots. Stop. Reload. Scare up the pheasants and only do 4 shots? Like, this is fucking ridiculous. You would either do 6 shots or 12, which is also reasonable. 6 or 12. Anyway, I found that really strange watching it this time when I had my reviewer's hat on and just went, that doesn't seem right. They would do 6 or 12. They would not do 10. That doesn't make any sense. Moving on. No firearms in Big Whiskey. Why did I say that? I don't think I realized in the beginning, or the first couple of times I watched this, I don't think I realized that English Bob like has this such disdain and just not focusing on it on purpose. I didn't realize it. And Beauchamp, I remember Beauchamp like meaning to point it out, but didn't, because English Bob is talking. But then he flat out lies to the deputy. And we know it as the audience. We see the gun clearly. The deputy sees the gun clearly. He flat out lies about being armed. It's weird. It's a shock. Like, why would you do that? Because he's not expecting anybody in this town to be any better than him. And he's good. He knows he's good. He also knows he's not the best. He knows he's not the best. But he knows in this little shit town in Wyoming or Nebraska or wherever the fuck they are. He's like, Wyoming. There's nobody can be better than him. That's what he feels. That's what he thinks. And so why would I give up my gun? I'm not giving my gun to you. Why? Because I could gun you down in a second. I don't think I picked that up in the beginning, that his disdain for the rules, his obvious, like, not looking at the sign. I don't care. That mime when he shoots the little mime when he's shooting the Chinaman. What the fuck? He was hired by the railroad to kill Chinamen? Like, what? I'm sorry, Trumpa. When was this country ever great? Ever. Never. Before English settled here. That's when it was great. I'm not going to get political. Let's move on. If I'm going to get this whole scene, again, like I said, throwing in little comedy, but not trying to throw in comedy, not trying to be a comedy, but throwing in a little funny thing. If I'm going to get a shot, I'd rather be cold. You know, all this whole talk about him, like, if you know how when it's cold and you hit your thumb and it feels worse. Shit, Clyde, you only got one arm and 6 pistols or something like that. Like, and he's reloading it. You know, and then not only that, but Clyde talks about how Little Bill ain't no carpenter. You know, you ain't got a straight angle on that house, or you ain't got a straight... He is the worst damn carpenter. So all this little funny okay, we're going to throw some little comedy in here, but not like trying to make you laugh, but little stuff. It's needed because this is such a heavy film and such a serious film. Oh, shit and fried eggs. So the intensity of that scene when English Bob comes out after he had his shave. Jesus Christ. I have so many notes. Okay, maybe I should just skip some of these. The intensity of that scene is amazing. Now we know that we get some dialogue that talks about Little Bill Daggett and who he is. We've had a lot of dialogue already about who Will Money is, but now we get a lot of dialogue about who Little Bill Daggett is. And we've had this setup that, you know, English Bob is this great gunfighter, but he's like visibly, physically afraid of Little Bill. And wow. I get that it's cliche, the whole peeing in the pants, but it worked here. I liked it. Like you told Andy, you're not armed, are you, Bob? The Duck of Death. I love this joke about the Duck of Death instead of the Duke of Death, and it carries on. You've been talking about the Queen again on Independence Day. Again, I could every fucking line is great. David Webb Peoples, thank you. Every line is amazing. Here we get, I guess you think I'm kicking you, Bob. I'm not. I'm talking to all those villains. Here we get Little Bill is okay, 1, Gene Hackman's fucking amazing, and 2, Little Bill is not kosher. He's not okay. He's not up and up. He's there's a dark side to Little Bill Daggett, and we see it here, and we're like, shit. Even the whole town is like shocked. Here again. It's all about the dialogue. Damn, David Webb Peoples. When Ned's like, you ever go into town to get a woman? He's like, no, that ain't right, buying flesh. So what? You just use your hand? You got to listen to what's being said. It's fucking amazing. But here's that sentiment. Here's that beautiful sentiment where William Money says that ain't right, buying flesh. But who is he going to defend? A whore. A working girl. So it's very interesting. William Money's character is very interesting, where morally he believes that, okay, there's a moral hierarchy, of course, with William Money and most people. You hear them talk, you hear them blah, blah, blah. Not all sins are treated equal, even though they say, okay, you should treat all sins equal. Yeah, bullshit. Most people would not agree that murder is the same as, disobeying your parents or, lying. Most people would agree to that. So William Money absolutely is on this, like, okay, I need the money, one, but, he even said they deserve it. They deserve to be killed. Why? Because they cut up a woman. But who is the woman? A whore. He just said it ain't right buying flesh. So there's a hierarchy to what is right and what isn't. And we get more insights into who William Money is. I just found that interesting this time around. You mean that's the kid shooting at us? I mean, he's shooting all over the place. I love that this, maybe something was bent. So I love the kid. Here's the introduction to the fact the kid can't see shit. And he's shooting all over the place. And I love that we know, as the audience, we can just feel and we know that this Schofield kid is like full of shit. He's just full of shit. Bravado. It's all bravado. He's young and it's all about bravado. What's that come to 3 ways? $333.33. And you can keep the extra cent. That's what it comes to 3 ways. They never talk about it, but he's blind, Will. That the hawk he talks about, there's a hawk up there, and he's like, there ain't no hawk, and he's blind. Well, we ain't going to Wyoming to shoot canteens now, damn it. We're getting to know the characters, and we're finding their vulnerability, and we're finding their not Ned yet. We don't find his vulnerability until later, but we're getting to know the characters, and it's all through the dialogue. It's not through, we're not doing, flashbacks or some shit like that. Wonderful that, we set up that the kid can't see anything. So he needs help. He just didn't tell Will in the beginning how much help he needs and why. Excuse me. Because he can't admit the fact that he can't see shit. The duck of death. Okay. The duck eye says. So this constant joke about the duck of death. Again, Hackman is amazing in this film. Gene Hackman is amazing in this film. I didn't see you there. No woman or no two-gun shooters. When he tells the true story of what happened in the book, The Duck of Death, is fantastic. This whole scene is gorgeous, like wonderful. And again, a lot of foreshadow. Watch it. A lot of foreshadow. So I love that he's talking about who English Bob really is. Fucking drunk, missing, shooting all over the place. He was upset because this girl wanted him more than... Anyway, he was jealous, shooting at this guy because he's drunk, missing. And then what happens? He fucking shoots him dead. Okay, things go back and forth, so I had notes. Again, it's a movie, so we have scenes back and forth. So let's do all the scenes of let's do all the notes of that scene. So he's talking about, little English Bob, drunk, shoots the guy, unarmed, fucking shoots the guy. And what I love about this is he's talking about so much foreshadow. It ain't easy to shoot a man, even when he's shooting back. That'll straight just rattle some folks. So this is all foreshadow. And then he gives Beauchamp the gun. And he says, here, all you have to do is shoot me. You didn't even put your finger on the trigger. Hot, ain't it? It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. Why? Because we're setting up the end. He's talking about how people will get rattled under fire. And if you can just keep your cool, then you'll end up out on top. And then he says, give the gun to Bob. Go ahead, give it to him. And then when he's going to give it to him, Bob's not at 100%. Bob also knows Bill's better than him. Little Bill. So Bill gets his hand on his gun. And he's not going to take the fucking gun. You're right not to take it. I'd have killed you, Bob. It all sets up the end entirely. Why? See, if you don't get rattled, if you calm your brain, if, like Will Money, you're drunk, whiskey done it most as anything. If you calm your brain with whiskey, then you won't get rattled. You'll keep your cool, and you'll end up on top. Fuck, this is all foreshadow. It's brilliant fucking foreshadow. Brilliant. And that's another reason why I fucking love this movie. This movie's amazing. Okay, campfire talk. Let's go back to the campfire talk. You don't recollect? How many men you kill? What's that to you, kid? Well, I got to know what kind of man I'm walking with. Well, how many you kill? 5? I done killed 5 of them. Yeah, right. Again, we know it's bravado. We know this kid's lying. But this campfire talk is brilliant. I love it. Here's where we get to know the characters. I fucking love it. Even in the rain, Will won't touch the whiskey. He won't drink. His wife cured him of it. I love this whole, no matter what happens, he is not touching it. His wife told him he's just not. He's not going to do it. There's nothing that's going to make him touch that whiskey. Why? His wife cured him of drinking and wickedness. He's not going to do it. And I love it because it sets up later. It's foreshadow. Please, God. Brilliant foreshadow. Okay, it sets up later. And why he drinks and what makes him drink again is fucking brilliant. Again, this movie is just... Please, if you haven't seen this, watch it. Okay. When he's so later on, okay, after the campfire talk, and we're on the way, and it's raining. Will won't touch the whiskey. We're in the rain. The Schofield kid is way ahead, but Ned and Will are talking. And when he was talking about the time the deputies had the drop on you, I remember it was 3 men you shot, not 2. So here we are. We're getting this idea that the legends of him are not nearly as accurate or as drastic or as serious or as big as the reality of it. And Ned was there, and Ned remembers, and Will is constantly like, I'm not who I was. This all sets up the end. This is why this movie is brilliant. It all sets up the end. I just love that scene where we get that the legend of him is not as big or as drastic as the reality of who Will Money really was. English Bob's accent changed. So when we're introduced to English Bob this entire time, when he gets to the town, all of it, he's got a very proper English accent. And then when he's beat up and he's leaving and his gun is bent, he's fucking leaving, he's got a Cockney accent, like total, well, he can go stuff himself now, can't he? So his accent totally changes. He is from the word fucking go. He is like, if you think Schofield Kid is just bravado, the English Bob is just fake. From the second we know him, he's taking credit for other people's shit. His accent is wrong. It's just, I find it funny that this guy is just insanely fake. Okay. I need to skip some notes because I've got so many notes in here. We are at over an hour. I have so many notes. Okay, we got to skip some notes, so I'm going to skip a bunch of stuff. I love William Money is sick. He's got a fucking fever, and he still won't drink the whiskey. I love that when they're in the bar, and the Schofield Kid and Ned are up with the Strawberry Alice and them. Something I don't understand about this is, why would he lie about having a gun? I can't figure that out. And it's something about the time that I guess I'll never understand. But why would he lie? I guess I ain't armed. Well, I guess they ain't armed either. Why would he lie? I don't understand that. Here we get to see, I feel like this is the turning point, where we get to see Little Bill as a villain. Up until now, Little Bill was harsh with English Bob, absolutely. But then we find out English Bob is a fucking liar and a fake. And all the stories he's telling Bill Daggett about all the stories he's telling Beauchamp about who Bill Daggett used to be, Little Bill used to be. Okay, we start to get to, maybe Gene Hackman's character, Little Bill is a little more like on the Wyatt Earp side, maybe. Close. Not close. But here, when Will Money is fucking sick, he hasn't taken a drink at all. Yes, he lies about being armed. I get it. He lies about being armed, yes. But that's the worst thing he's done. That's the worst thing he can be accused of. But when Bill beats the shit out of him and then makes him leave, now we start to see Little Bill as a villain. Whoa, this is not okay. He's not on the right side, in my opinion. And I would hope that all the audience in that moment feels like Little Bill's not on the right side of that judgment. That's not okay. I hope. This is where we see him as a villain. You just kicked the shit out of an innocent man. Innocent? Innocent of what? See, we get him as the villain. It's great. It's important. It's great. I felt like that was the end when I feel like as a kid, if I remember correctly when I first saw this, I felt like that was close to the end. Like, okay, we're getting to the end and it's not going to happen. But when they get away, I'm like, oh, there's more to go. Okay, so now we get, okay, we're moving on. There's more to this than what's just happened. The disillusion of the Schofield Kid, because the Schofield Kid from the beginning, from like the second scene of the movie, has had Will Money on this pedestal like he's the killer's killer. He's the baddest of the baddest. And he has all these stories about how William Money is the baddest of the baddest. And I think here we finally get this disillusion of who Will is. He never even drew his gun. He got his ass kicked, and like when they're taking care of Will and he's all tore up, now we get that Schofield Kid doesn't believe it anymore. Maybe I picked the wrong guy. Maybe I picked the wrong guy, wrong partner. He ain't nothing but a broken down pig farmer, he says. Now we start to see maybe Will Money, and if it's the first time you see it, maybe Will Money ain't the guy we want him to be, the guy he says he is. Well, of course he's not. Of course he's not. He keeps saying that. He's not. He's not the guy he used to be. I remember as a kid thinking that Will was going to die. This brilliant scene, again, the fucking writing. The writing is wonderful. Don't tell my kids none of the things I'd done. He regrets so much who he used to be and the things that he used to do and the things he remembers doing and the things he doesn't remember doing probably. I remember thinking he was going to die, and it was such a heartbreaking scene to see him regret his life. And please don't let my kids know who I used to be. Here's where I have this little note about the editing. I was not happy with the editing here. When he's inside laying down and Delilah comes and he's waking up and blah, blah, blah. And he says, oh, I must look like you. And you don't look nothing like me. And then literally the next scene is those two characters, Delilah, William, outside and talking. But then he says, that thing I said the other day about you looking like me, that wasn't true. You ain't ugly like me. I was like, even as a kid, I was jarred like, wait, what? Because it feels like it was the same day. Those two scenes are back to back, and it feels like it's the same day. There's nothing in between that indicates to me that multiple days have passed. They should have done a cut-in with something else. I don't know what else, but something else. Because I feel like those two scenes back to back just feel like it's the same day. But then he says something about it not being the same day, which is very confusing. So that in the editing, I find not okay. Okay, the killing of Davy. Will you give him a drink? God damn it! I feel so bad for him when Davy gets killed. Because like I said before, he was the only one that was sad about it. He was, the only one. There's only two of them. But he was sad about it. He tried to atone. He tried to say sorry. He was definitely not okay with what his partner did. And I feel sad that not only does he die, but he dies very painfully. And it takes a while for him to die. It's very sad. And we see that Ned is not okay with it. Here's that breaking point. Here's that turning point of Ned. Here's the weak point. He's like, he can't do this anymore. Even for money, he can't do this anymore. And what he said earlier in the film, again, foreshadow, I don't think it was all that easy then. It wasn't. And now that he's, a productive member of society, I guess you would say, he can't do it anymore. Wonderful. And I love that he leaves. And then, the kid's full of shit. You'll get your share. He took care of Will. He did his part. Even though there's no way he can take part in the killing of them, he did his part to get them where they're at. He got it coming. Both of them got it coming for what they did. That when they throw the brick or the rock or whatever through their window, Strawberry Alice's window, and like after Davy's killed, I kind of feel like them. Davy didn't deserve it, but maybe, Quick Mike, do you deserve death after something like that? Maybe not, but we're at an hour 13. We're not going to talk about that. We got one when I knew they got, he had a Spencer rifle on him. When I knew they got Ned, I was like, oh shit. I still feel that. It's not just remembering. I still feel that. Like, oh, damn. Again, Davy gets killed and you feel sorry about it. And Ned's the one that gets caught by them and you feel sorry. You're like, Ned didn't do anything. Davy didn't do anything. It's so injustice in a film all about the seeking of justice. Such injustice in a film that's all about seeking justice. Little Bill whipping him, Ned, like shit. They make a thing of that. You can hear it throughout the entire fucking town. Like, wow. When I gotta skip that note. When the Schofield kid gets the second guy. Damn, the Schofield kid can't shoot for shit. I mean, that's my first thought. I know that's petty of me, but I'm like, my first thought is like, he can't shoot at all. He's like, God, this takes forever for him to cock, shoot. Like, he's like, Jesus. Maybe that's the editing. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, but he can't shoot for shit. I love that he's trying to be hard afterwards after he shoots him, but he can't be. And we get that big reveal of he's never shot anybody before. He's never killed anybody before. Of course. We knew it was all bravado. We knew it was all bullshit. Take a drink, kid. I have to say, it is from this moment on, this scene, when the Schofield kid is confessing to Will Money, when they're talking, from that scene to the end is absolutely, you cannot fucking take your eyes away. It is brilliant. Every breath, every scene, every shot, every word from that moment on is brilliant, gorgeous, perfect. This is fucking filmmaking. This is what makes this film a best picture from this moment on. It's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take away all he's got and all he's ever gonna have. The writing is gorgeous. I don't know why this wasn't fucking... Was it up for best writing? Because it should have fucking won. Unforgiven was up for best original screenplay. You know what? Fuck you. It should have won. Yes, I can say I have not seen everything, and I don't care that I haven't seen everything, and it should have won. That's horrible of me to say, but the Crying Game won. I don't think it should have won, because I saw the Crying Game. Husbands and Wives, Lorenzo's Oil, Passion Fish. I haven't heard of any of those films. Husbands and Wives, Lorenzo's Oil, Passion Fish. The fuck? I haven't heard of any of those films. Sorry, I just haven't. The Crying Game I saw, Unforgiven I saw, and Unforgiven fucking should have won over Crying Game in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Crying Game was good, but not like this. Not like this. It's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take away all he's got and all he's ever gonna have. Like, that gives me that fucking line gives me chills. It's not about his delivery, it's the line, and it's his delivery. Fuck. Okay, moving on. We all have it coming, kid. You know, it's all in the words, it's all in the dialogue. They got a sign on him in front of Greeley's. Okay, Ned's dead. Remember when I said before, he wouldn't touch a drop. He's sick. He's got a fever. He's dying. He wouldn't touch a drop. This is what makes him go for the whiskey. Fucking, oh shit. All this foreshadow, all this setup about who William Money is when he drinks, when he's drunk. And here he is. He's finally gone for the whiskey. He takes it from the kid. And you have to, at this point, as the audience member, be just, oh shit. Oh shit. And that's what it took. You killed an innocent man, his friend. Oh, and the fucking shift in the character. It's not just that we as the audience know that that's what's going to happen. He takes a few drinks. He's still talking to her. But then the shift in the character after a few drinks, when he asks for, give me your Schofield. Why, Will? Give it to me. Just the fucking Clint Eastwood. Jesus. Clint Eastwood. The look. And the way he says it. Give it to me. Just the way he says it and the look. The performance is like, shh, you're fucking scared of him. That's Clint Eastwood's like niche. You're fucking scared of him. And all he did was say, give it to me. 4 fucking words and a stare. And you're like, holy shit. And you can't help but, I mean, just like the Schofield kid, he's like, here. Like, wow. Wow. I ain't gonna kill you. You're only friend I got. It's sad, but it's true, and it means something. When he throws the empty whiskey bottle, oh my God. Okay, we had that holy shit moment when he took the whiskey bottle, and now he throws it empty in front of him. And we know, here's the Will money they've talked about the entire 2 hours of this movie so far. Here is the Will money they have been talking about this entire time. Now we as the audience member we get to experience that. Ned in the coffin, I'm just like, what the fuck with that sign in front of him? I would feel just as bad as he does. I could watch this ending over and over and over. I could replay. I could YouTube just the last the last 15, 20 minutes of this film and watch it over and over and over and over. Like I said, this whole part from that, when he and Schofield Kid are talking from that on, just I could over and over and because it's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. When you see when you see. Okay, we got Bill talking, blah, 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 blah. We got everybody in the bar. But when you see that shot, all you see is his hand and the shotgun. You're like, oh, shit. And everybody reacting to him. We haven't seen him yet. All we see is the shotgun, his hand, and we see everybody reacting to him. And you're just like on pins and needles. Like, holy shit. You, Sir cowardly son of a bitch. You just shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself if he's going to decorate his saloon with my friend. Yes. Again, like I said, that line is one of the best lines of the film. He should have armed himself if he's going to decorate his saloon with my friend. Absolutely. I feel justified. I feel right when he shoots. Yes. He deserved it. That's what the emotion of this whole ending scene is. Yes, right. Yes, right. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous. When he says, that's right. I've killed women and children. I killed everything that walked or crawled at one time or another. And I'm here to kill you, little Bill, for what you did to Ned. And that slow zoom in on him. They break away, and I think they show a couple other people, Beauchamp or somebody else. But when you see William Money, it is a constant slow zoom on Money, and it is brilliant. Because we've had this entire setup, and the entire movie is a fucking setup. And here we're getting to the payoff. And this is what we wanted. And he's saying, yes. He's drunk. And he's saying, yes. I killed anything that crossed my path. Because I didn't give a fuck, basically. And I'm here to kill you. And nothing, and we don't have to say it, but nothing is going to stop me. Nothing. I love that it's in the middle of a storm. I love that when he says that the thunder clashes, it's amazing. It's just brilliant. This fucking movie. Like, it's just brilliant. You boys better move away. And they do. I fucking love that. Because he's already shot Skinny. Misfire. I never would have thought of that. That is so fucking brilliant, the misfire. And the reaction to the misfire. And the shock of it. Not only William Money, but Little Bill. And then what do? Oh shit, misfire. Shoot the son of a bitch. And everybody's on edge. Like, what? And then he throws the shotgun. Like, this, it's just, people, this movie is fucking brilliant. People, this movie is fucking brilliant. Okay, moving on. Like I said before, because of the whiskey, because he's drunk, he's calmer, he's chill, he's not freaking out. Everybody else, as we see, foreshadow again, what Bill was talking about earlier in that scene is everybody's freaking out. Everybody's, shooting wild. Everybody, even Bill shoots wild. And shoots off and doesn't get him and then gets shot. He's calm, he's chill, he goes down to one knee, calm himself down. He's where the threat is. He's shooting where the threat is. Okay, yes, there's a little mistake. One of the deputies has a bullet hole in his shirt before he gets shot. Okay, little mistake. Moving on. Okay, it happens. Moving on. Any man don't want to get killed, better clear on out the back. So, he's already killed, 3 people? 4 people? At that point, is it 4 people? Or maybe it is all 5. He's killed all 5 people right at that point. And everybody's like, oh, I'm out. So it's not about whether he's good or not. It's about the intimidation factor. And he keeps it solid. And they all leave. There's a sign behind him. I noticed a Red Bull sign. Genuine Red Bull. I don't know what Red Bull in 1987 was, but I thought it was funny that there was a Red Bull sign. You ain't shot. I love the way he tells it, Beauchamp's freaking out. He thinks he's shot. I've always been lucky when it come to killing folk. And all I can tell you is who's going to be last. It's just David Webb Peoples, the lines. And, honestly, Clint Eastwood, the delivery. Fuck, this entire last scene is amazing. I can't say enough. You got to see this movie. This movie is brilliant. I don't deserve this. To die like this. I was building a house. Deserves got nothing to do with it. Again, that's one of the brilliant lines of this. I'll see you in hell, William Money. Yeah. Gene Hackman's amazing. Every scene, every second he is on scene, he's brilliant in this film. I love him. He's done wonderful performance in other films, and this one is just brilliant. Any son of a bitch takes a shot at me, I'm not only going to kill him, I'm going to kill his wife and his friends, burn his damn house down. Again, we get a little chuckle at the end. We got to liven it up a little bit, but we still get the intensity of William Money and the importance of intimidation. He's killed 5 men single-handedly. Even Beauchamp's like, I can't believe it. You killed 5 men single-handedly. And here's just the intimidation. And we see that a little bit when the guy's like, here, shoot him. And he's like, I know, deputy. Nobody wants to shoot at him. Why? Because they'll end up dead. Here's the legend of who William Money is. And this brilliant last line of the film, brilliant, and I think it's the best fucking, and I always hear it when I think about this film, you better bury Ned right. Better not cut up nor otherwise harm no whores, or I'll come back and kill every one of you sons of bitches. And then the thunder. Like, that's the essence of the movie. That's what we needed. That's what we wanted the entire time. And we got it. Like, this whole movie is foreshadow, setup, foreshadow, setup. And the payoff is absolutely worth it. Brilliant. Wonderful. Worth it. And how does it end? Last scene. How does it end? The way it starts. Super fucking simple. With a gorgeous shot. The simple strum of the guitar. and the quick ending script. Jesus, wow. I can't say enough about this film. Of course, I've just spoke an hour and a half about it, and I probably could have spoken longer because I had a bunch of notes that I passed on because I didn't want this to be 5 hours. You got a long-ass review tonight. Sorry. This movie is amazing. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, I haven't ruined it. I've probably given you some things to watch out for, and I would say watch it. I haven't given anything away. There isn't anything to give away. You can watch this and still be cool with it and still love it because it's brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. It was a long one tonight. Two more in the book, and we are done with the book, which is going to feel so great because I got this book so long ago. I want to finish the book. So thank you very much for listening. I'm going to get you another review soon because I want to finish this book, and I'm itching to. And just guess what the last two movies are. I left them for the end on purpose. Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.